Talk to the Entities is a specialty class of access consciousness, and it was developed by Shannon O'Hara and Gary Douglas. And Talk to the Entities is basically everything that you should have been given as a child about entities and energies and the spirit world that you weren't given. It is, like I said, a specialty class of access consciousness, and access consciousness is a practical set of tools, tips, and processes that you can use in your everyday life to change whatever you would love to change. So Talk to the Entities is basically an invitation for you to start to know what you know, and because all of us were born with the ability to be aware of entities, whether that be spirits, energies, awarenesses, but we all are born with the ability to communicate with beings. And Talk to the Entities is basically everything you need to know in order for you to reconnect with that knowing, in order for you to build the muscle of knowing that you know those things and being aware of what you are actually aware of. Entities are, by definition, an energy that's defined. So by that definition, you and I are entities. Also, ghosts, spirits, and also things like books, artwork, antiques, businesses. So anything that has an energy that's defined that you can perceive as something other than you is considered an entity. So there are all sorts of entities on the planet, and people who have passed out of their bodies, so people who are no longer in their physical bodies. There are also nature spirits. There are also spirits of the land. There are also just energies that have never actually been in human form. And in some way or another, all of us have the ability to be aware of this, and all of us are aware of these things. It's just we've never been told, or many of us have never been told that that's actually possible. So we have awarenesses of all of these energies and entities around us, but we've never identified it as what it is. We've usually misidentified it as something else. And so one of the brilliant things about Talk to the Entities, especially in the beginning series, is you start to identify what it is that you're aware of and the ways in which you're aware of it. Because for many of us, the way that we're aware of entities isn't necessarily because we see them or even because we hear them in the way that you think you would. You could be aware of them by, your body could be giving you information. You could be aware of them by a certain mood that you have. There's all different ways that we are aware of entities. And again, because we're not given this information as children, that it's possible and that we are aware of what we're aware of, we start to create filters and barriers of what we're aware of, and it distorts the information that we're receiving. So in Talk to the Entities beginning, we start to kind of unravel all those distortions, those barriers, everything that you've decided your awareness is that it isn't, so that you can start to perceive what it is that you're actually perceiving. Talk to the Entities, especially the beginning series, is packed full of tools, techniques, information, things that give you access to what it is you know about this world of entities, the spirit world, and not only give you access to it, but allow you to be able to practically interact with it and to practically use it in your life. There are many, many ways in which you can use your awareness of entities to your advantage, and also just starting to know what it is that you know about this and beginning to be aware of what you're actually aware of instead of everything that you've misidentified and misapplied. It can create a ton of ease for you. Like for me, I perceive entities a lot with my body. And before I found this class and before I found these tools and techniques, I thought that there was something wrong with my body. I always misinterpreted it as my body was diseased or sick or ill. And in reality, it was actually my awareness of entities. So choosing this work and starting to use the tools and techniques that you get in the Talk to the Entities beginning class has created a huge space for me to have more ease in my life, to not always go to the conclusion that something's wrong, to be able to know that I'm actually just aware and be able to work with that awareness so that it creates more for my life and not creates less. A few of the main things that you start to be aware of and receive from the Talk to the Entities beginning class is that there are some basic ways in which you interact with entities all the time. The three ways that you are most often the ways you interact with entities is you are either going to clear them, communicate with them, or receive from them. So during the Talk to the Entities beginning class, we start to explore what those three things are. We explore when those three things would be applied. There's an amazing communication flowchart that really basically breaks down, like, okay, so you're aware of this energy, this entity, this being, what now? You know, also, too, you start to become aware of, you know, what it is that you know, how you are perceiving entities, and the ways in which you're perceiving them. So, like, for me, identifying that my body was a way that I really perceived entities was really key for me. And other people may perceive them by seeing them, and other people may perceive them by hearing them. And everybody is different. Like, every single person on the planet has a different way that they're aware of entities, and really starting to know how it is that you personally are aware of entities is going to allow you to expand this part of your life. It's going to allow you to use these awarenesses to your advantage. And there's a lot of entities out there that if you are able to lower your barriers, know what you know, be aware of what you're aware of, they're totally willing to gift to you energies and awarenesses and gift to your life. Like, how much would you love to be able to communicate with your business on a more energetic level? Because that is what, you know, you can learn how to do in this Talk to the Entities beginning curriculum, along with being able to communicate with loved ones who have passed on, pets who have passed on, being able to interact with beings who want to contribute to, you know, things that you're creating, being able to interact with nature spirits and earth spirits, being able to travel all over the planet and being aware of what's actually occurring in that area and what spirits are there in that area that are either there to communicate with you, to contribute to you. And so it just creates a space where you can interact with this world in a much more dynamic way and know that you're doing it. So Talk to the Entities beginning is an amazing doorway into what else is possible for you. And I really encourage you to just dip your toe in.